Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. We have a new signing. Well, it's not a player signing, but we have a new director of football. So we'll be talking a little bit around the new man, Johan, what he brings. We've got some quotes from Scott Munn. We've got quotes from himself when he was at Copenhagen. We have an update around the situation with Fabio Paratici. So plenty to get into. I'm not going to stall. I'm going to jump straight in. So it was announced last night from Fabrizio Romano that Tottenham have appointed Johan Lange, or Lange, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to go Lange, as new technical director with effect from November 1st. Lange held the role of Global Director of Football Development and Academies at Aston Villa from June 2023, having previously been Sporting Director from June 2020. So it's been coming. It's been needed, but I think what was really the hold-up was the whole Scott Munn leaving the City group to take over at Spurs, for then him to pick the guy who he wants to work beneath him. The fact that I think also he has knowledge of the Premier League, very, very important. I think also he's a very data-driven person, and with Spurs going this whole data-driven route, I think that's going to be really crucial. And I think he has a big job on his hands leading up into January. But I spoke on the previous video when I first spoke about Johan, how the fact that we need him in as soon as possible. We don't want to be waiting around till December, mid-December, late November, whatever it is in that realm. He's not going to have enough time to implement a system of what he wants to do at Spurs, but also he doesn't have enough time to work with Ange, the scouts, and kind of formulate that data that he's going to work with. The fact he's going to have a 2-month run-up into January, I think is going to be very crucial. By the way, I did see this about how fans are saying we're getting rid of our, director of football, technical director, whatever you want to call it, who signed Clement Longley. We're bringing in the guy who signed Clement Longley. He didn't sign Clement Longley. It was the new guy that came in, Monkey, or whatever his name is, Monchi. I don't know a lot about him. He was the guy that got Clement Longley. It wasn't Johan, so don't panic, all right? So Scott Munn talked about Johan in his arrival, and he said, Johan has demonstrated an excellent track record of scouting and signing many talented and successful youth and senior players. He is a welcome addition as we strengthen our football operations. Lang will have responsibility for recruitment, analytics, and talent identification across our senior and academy teams, according to the club statement. So, I've talked about it, you've talked about it, we want to see Santiago come through. We want to see Donnelly come through. We want to see, whoever come through. The fact that he's now going to have this 2 months to kind of try and integrate and push forward players from, different parts of the youth teams. Maybe it's like, he plays for under 13s. So we're going to play him from under 15s. So that kind of vibe. Try and progress their progression and get it going faster. I think it's going to be really crucial. I think you are going to see more of those youth guys getting onto the bench, getting, 5-10 minutes here and there, as long as obviously the game fits that mould. But that was really exciting. Now, I noticed this about a quote that kind of appeared around from Johan on his time on Recruitment Process when he was at Copenhagen. And I thought it was very interesting, and I'll read it to you. And obviously I will put it on the video so you can have a little read and pause it and yourself. But he says that at the identification phase, our process is very data-driven. We're trying to find players earlier in their career that is difficult to predict, but it is important to try. The partnership between myself, the manager, and the scouts is crucial. We take time at the start of the process to establish exactly what we are looking for. Then we can set the parameters with the data. It is only after that stage that it becomes about live scouting. It helps that everyone knows their job and that our manager has a clear style of play. It is difficult for scouts if the style is changing from season to season, which is important. We have changed our style of play from being a very low block, defensive, counter-attacking moulding team to a expansive, high intensity, high press football. That obviously in turn, you are going to look for different style of players. For example, a Højbjerg really would suit a Conte Mourinho system, which we saw. He was fantastic for them. Doesn't maybe suit as an attacking style of play as much that as a Basuma does. I think that's fair for me to say. I don't think anyone's going to sit there and think I'm being wrong about this. But I think a lot of that does kind of stay true to who he is now. Obviously, that was years ago. He's still true to that now. He's still a data-driven technical director. He still wants to progress youth, but also find youth to bring in and find senior players to bring in who are going to add quality through the team. You know, he has worked at Aston Villa where they've changed managers, you know. He's coming into a fresh setup, a fresh club with a manager who is very well loved. He's very well liked. He has a very distinct way of playing football. He has a very distinct way of recruitment and what he wants. You know, we know Ange wants to speak to the players before they sign him. He wants to know who they are as a person. He wants to make sure that if we are bringing in a new personality to the change rooms, they will blend in with the overall feel. They don't want anyone to come in and be a thorn in a rose bush, you know? So that's a little bit around him as well. But I do have an update around Fabio Paratici and his involvement at Spurs, because we talked about the fact that he is a consultant still at Spurs. And I mean, we've got it from two different areas. So the source said that although Johan Lange has been appointed as new sporting director or technical director, Fabio Paratici will still remain working within the club. That was from one area, from, you know, Paul O'Keefe, guy that I talk about a lot. There was a bit of a thread about, you know, what's the situation with Fabio? Is he still going to be here? Is he not? And Paul chimed in a couple of times, but said, ultimately, if someone can be the difference between getting a player and not getting a player, they'll be mandated. Although also useful in a network of scouts, his contact book isn't one you just disregard. Levy won't anyway, whether it's an official role or not, which I think that's obvious, you know. But he will be remaining as a consultancy part. You know, obviously he's not allowed to take over clubs because of the FIFA ban that he received not long ago. But he can still offer you connections. He can still offer you opinions. There's nothing wrong with that. If we go, look, we really want to get a hold of so-and-so's agent, do you mind getting us in contact with him? He's not doing anything wrong. He'll go to the agent, you know, by the way, Spurs really want to have a conversation about your player so-and-so. Are you free tomorrow at 2:00? You know, whatever it might be, right? There's nothing stopping him there. But also, I think if you think about our team that played at the weekend, I saw a stat that 10 of the 11 players were basically recruited by Fabio Paratici. So he made a huge impact at our club, really turned our club around, brought in loads of players that are so important to us today in our game of football. I think you're going to have to look at it and kind of go, we still want him, we still need him. While Scott's very new, Johan's very new, you've got a stable pair of hands to kind of say, who do you need to speak to? Where can I help? They will use Fabio. He's too crucial not to use that. That I call it the little black book. His little black book is not little. It's huge. He has connections across the world, and those connections you can't put a price on. So he's definitely going to be important. But yeah, a lot of people kind of sort of asking different sources, is he a good, Johan, is he a good fit or not? And Paul O'Keefe did say, very much a data-driven guy, so fits with the model, time will tell. I think that's where I'm going to leave it, with the time will tell. It's good that we've got someone in. It's about time we got someone in. Yes, he's not going to be here for another 3 or 4 weeks, whatever it is. The fact he's at least been named, he's here November 1st. He's got 2 months till the start of the January transfer window, where I do think we need 2 or 3 players. But also, I would like to see, I've said in the previous video, I'd love to see Donnelly come through the setup if possible. Get him into the first team squad. Doesn't mean, I don't say sit here and think he needs to start every game, not at all. But if we can get him 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes here and there, it's only going to add to his progression. But we'll see. We'll see with Johan. It's just good that we've got some good news about how the club is now starting to be formed and shaped under Scott Mudd. But anyway, guys, that's in the video. Hope you did enjoy. Drop a like on the video if you did. Hit me in the comment section below your thoughts about feelings about Johan. Are you happy he's going to be joining the club and becoming the new technical director? You happy Fabio's staying? I'll be interested to see what you think. It's definitely a hot topic. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and hit the bell notification for more, because I do have another video out hopefully later around transfers. So you're going to want to stick around with that. Anyway, guys, that's the video, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.